It's a bleak situation we find ourselves in more and more every day. Government representatives have turned into government leaders. They're there to lead us, to control us. It's outrageous, really. Your tax funds the government, it funds the corporation, it funds the police, and they use that power, they use their resources to impose restrictions onto us, to continue to enrich the corporation, and to put us more and more into poverty. You don't have to look that far to see that these corporations and these billionaires are getting richer and richer over this crisis, this pandemic. You don't have to look far to see the connections, government officials to the pharmaceutical industry. Matt Hancock's friend or neighbour or something like that was given a 30 million contract for I don't know if it was PPE or something to do with COVID, when he had no medical background at all, no experience. Matt Hancock's crocodile tears, you know, you look into body language experts and emotional counsellors and see what they say about his performance, because that's what it was a performance. There was no tears, there was no genuine emotion, it was pantomime. The only emotion that man had was happiness at his plan paying off, that he had such a big platform to be able to tell the millions of people who hung on every word that he said how relieved he was that it was finally coming to an end because of this vaccine. He couldn't look at the camera. He couldn't muster a tear, not even a single tear. And Boris's body language is just as bad. When he was giving his little update the other day, and he said, we have to sacrifice this Christmas so we have a chance at having one next year. And he didn't know where to look. He couldn't look at the camera. He held his head in shame. He knew that he was lying. He knew that he was bullshitting. He knew that this would never go away. Because all this transfer of wealth to make the wealthier, and to make the working class poorer, and to essentially kill the middle class. So you have masters and you have slaves. You have the dependent and you have the controlling. And that's what they want. You know, I heard the new plans in America. That they're trying to pass is basically going to entitle Americans to about $600, while the big corporations get the free money. They ain't restricted to $600, are they? And people still defend it. You know, there's police brutality out there. There's people calling us selfish all the time. You know, instead of looking at where this has come from, you know, looking and judging the people that make these decisions, we are encouraged to turn on each other, to take out our anger on those that we can. I can't show Hancock or Boris or Bill Gates my anger, but I can show someone who's wearing a mask and telling me that I should be. And that's the problem. And it's a sad situation. It really is. Because more people that want to do what they can, and they go out and they protest peacefully, and they want to make their feelings known. Being peaceful, it just gets them arrested. And eventually there will be a kickback from this, because the more tyrannical it gets, the more control they exert, the more likelihood that there will be war and there will be a reaction. And more and more I'm thinking that that's half the plan. That's what they want. But they can't underestimate people's desire to do the best for their children. That instinct, that emotion that's bubbling beneath the surface of most human beings that know what's going on. And they still restrain themselves from hitting out at a police officer or resisting arrest when it's an unlawful and unjust arrest anyway. But this new restriction ruining people's Christmas shows how low they will take it. And the plans are there for next year, people. The mutation, it's been written about. COVID-21. This has been written about. They're warning you what's going to happen next year. Harsher lockdowns, roadblocks, army being drafted in to impose travel restrictions to make sure people are being good little slaves. When is enough enough, people? There's so many points to this. Word is that the virus was never isolated under Coca postulate. All we have to show us that it has is a document from the CDC, who's funded by the same people that want you to believe in it. It's like me funding the research to see who the nicest human being is in the world and coming back and saying, guess what, it's me. I've done the research, paid for it, here's the documentation, here's the proof. None of us know what all this technical medical jargon means, but we can pretty much guarantee that it wasn't a neutral, unbiased research program. That's for sure. You know, the vaccine trials, they're funded by the companies that run the vaccine, so they're not going to tell you all the people that have suffered and all the problems they've faced with it. They're only going to tell you the good that fits their purpose. So if the virus has been isolated, then people need to question and say, how did Bill Gates predict this? How was it predicted mere months before the outbreak? How was it written about years before? How was it the patent awarded for the vaccine and the testing years before? This proves beyond any doubt that this was a virus that was released on us purposely, which amounts to genocide. And these people must be held accountable. Don't look at people without masks and call them selfish. Don't look at people with masks and call them idiots. Look at the people who have put this on us. Because if the virus is real, then they're trying to kill us. Fact. And if it's not real, then they're trying to trick us into control. Trick us into having poison put in our bodies that we don't even know what it is. Fact. So either way, it's a bad situation. And are you going to be a victim? Because at the moment you're a victim, your family's a victim, we're all victims. Whether you wear a mask or you don't wear a mask, we're all victims. But the mistake you're going to make, you mask wearers out there, is saying that people like me is the one that's done this. Because I have never wore a mask and I have never sanitised my hands in this whole year. And I've gone to the gym multiple times. And I've never cleaned a trolley in Tesco, and I've never got sick, I've never got the sniffles. My kids go to school, I hold their hands, they don't wash their hands in school like, you know, OCD people. We're all fine. And so again, you know, people go, well, you carry it, you can still transmit it, you can still spread it. Asymptomatic spread has been shown to be rare, right? In fact, the World Health Organization said it didn't happen. Therefore, how can I spread something when I've got no symptoms? Ask yourself that. And again, another contradiction there, isn't there? If I can spread it from being in groups of more than 3 protesting, being threatened to be arrested, then my children must spread it being at school with 200 other people, shouldn't they? And if they come out, they're going to spread it to their parents, aren't they? So does it matter whether I go to work or whether I go to the gym or whether I go anywhere? If I'm going Tesco, I'm going to spread it. If I'm picking my kids up from school, I'm going to spread it. But again, you can't spread it when you're asymptomatic, can you? If it was that deadly, if it was that contagious, that we spread it and we transmitted it without symptoms and we transmitted it at the touch of a hand, then there would be far more cases than there is, wouldn't there? If this pandemic and the restrictions for this pandemic justifies every household and every business and every individual being affected by it, then you would see every household and every individual being affected by it, wouldn't you? You would see people down your street dropping down. You'd see ambulances down your road every night picking people up who are ill. You'd see people dying all over the place. And guess what? It ain't happening, is it? The people dropping down in the street in Wuhan. Where has that happened near you? Have you seen that? Have you seen that anywhere? Even on the corrupt, funded by the corporations BBC and the news and the mainstream media that's owned by these people, have you ever seen on the news people dropping dead in the streets like they did in Wuhan? No, you haven't, because it hasn't happened. And I still get people going, well, if I can protect my family and go without at Christmas, fine. And you do what's best for your family. That's fine. But I know if this was genuine, I would rather see as much as my family as I could in case I never got another Christmas with them. And if it's not genuine, I'd want to see as much of my family as possible because I wouldn't want them restrictions imposed on my life. So which is it? It can't be both. But either way, I need to see my family. I have the right to see my family. Nobody has the right to tell you you can't see your family. No one has the right to tell you you can't earn a living. No one has the right to tell you what you can and can't do. You must stay indoors. You must not go here. You must not go there. Look at the contradictions everywhere. A few months ago, meet 6 people in a pub. Don't have them to your house. Now, have 6 people in your house. Don't go to the pub. It's so backwards. It tears you one way. It pulls you another. It tries to break you. It tries to make you so confused that you go, the only thing I know is how to follow the government and how to follow the rules. The only thing I know is how to take my frustrations out on people that oppose my views. I will continue to be compassionate and try and help people and try and open people's eyes. But my levels of frustration are rising all the time because these people that are complying are complicit in this. They are helping bring about this new world order. They are helping to condition our children to the new abnormal. They are helping to make my children think that it's normal to be seen in a mask, and it's not normal. And if you look at the documentation, this ain't going to be over next year. You ain't going to have a normal Christmas next year. It's going to be worse. And every day, as an abuser does, they will wear you down and they will grind you down until you've got no strength left and you forgot what it's like to be human. That's what's going to happen. So what are you going to do about that? You're going to allow it? You're going to live in hope? Things might get better next year. We've all experienced a certain quality of life that we want to hold on to. And it's that desire to get back to normal that allows us to take another hit. Wear a mask. Take another hit. Stay indoors. It's only a little while. Another hit. Just one Christmas. It'll all go back to normal. Another hit. Just a vaccine, isn't it? Little steps into complete control, into complete domination. And this time next year, I guarantee there will be army on the streets checking you at little checkpoints to make sure you're not travelling too far. What are you going to do then? You're going to argue with a man with an SA-80 rifle? No, you're not. You're going to have no power at all. Your power is dwindling by the day. Our power collectively is dwindling by the day. But I have hope. I'm not going to rely on Trump or Q or Jesus or aliens to come and rescue me, or even the lawsuits that are being put on these people. Whilst there are many great people out there, the Lord Sumptions, the Michael Abernathy's, trying to tackle them, the judges are compromised, the legal system's compromised, all of it's compromised. It's all rotten to the core. We all have to take responsibility for ourselves and our own lives now. Do you want someone to represent you, or do you want someone to control you and own you? That's what you need to ask yourself, and that's what you need to decide. And it's no good going, well, what can I do? I'm one person. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands that feel the same as you. There are teachers that feel the same, but they put their mask on because it's their rules, because it's work. They've got to. There's doctors who feel the same, but they don't want to lose their job, and it's, they're working in an NHS government-funded hospital. They've got to do what they're told. You've got police who feel the same, but I'm just doing my job. You've got soldiers that feel the same, but, I'm just following orders. Just following orders, just like the Nazis did. And they might be able to live with themselves now because they're being tiptoed step by step into this system. Everything that happens is conditioning us, and you don't even know it. The lockdowns, I can almost see it now. My gym has opened and shut, and then opened and shut, and then opened and shut again. So when they're told that, listen, have people in when they've had the vaccine, they're going to enforce that. Even when I make the point, and let's look at this logically. I've been going to this gym 6 days a week. I see the same faces all the time. The same people use that gym on a regular basis. They haven't stopped because they've been ill. They've still come in there. Therefore, this virus hasn't affected anybody in the gym directly. But the gym owners won't see that, will they? The gym managers won't see that. All they'll see is, we've been locked down time and time again over this. The only way out, the only way back to normal is to follow the rules. This is how you're being conned. Look around yourself. Where are the sick people? Even those, and I can forgive those that say, yes, I've had it. But again, another contradiction right there, isn't it? 85% of people have no symptoms. On the NHS website, the average age of death is 82. So if people have it and they have noticeable symptoms, then they've either got compromised immune system or they've got underlying health issues, haven't they? I've said it before, if you've got a 94-year-old in an old people's home that's got Alzheimer's, that's not long got over cancer, she's got COPD, a cold will probably kill her off because her immune system ain't going to handle it. Are you going to feel guilty walking around leaving your house with a cold? No, you don't normally. You don't, because it's life. People are either strong enough to get over it or they're not. As blunt as it sounds, that's a fact. So these people that have been told they've had coronavirus, they've got that diagnosis off of a PCR test, which, again, I don't know how many times we need to say it, is a research tool, not a diagnostic tool. It's amplified to show someone being sick when they're not, when they're healthy. This is how the creator puts it on YouTube, the inventor of the test. And people overlook that. Who cares about that? He's only the inventor. What does he know? Let's listen to our government. They know. It must be a decent test. They're using it. Wake up, people. 20,000 flu deaths a year. Oh, there's only 400 this year. Think of how bad your health's got to be for flu to kill you off. Think of how old and how frail or how weakened your immune system is for flu to kill you off. Think of how weak it'll be to have COVID kill you off when COVID, in most cases, has no symptoms. Less traumatic than a cold. So, these people that die from flu every year, 18, 19,000 of them missing off of the figures this year. And what? Is that not possible that they've told them they've got COVID and they've told their family they've got COVID and they've told some friend, some mask wearer who's now going, I know someone that had COVID and they had it bad. No, they had flu, they had pneumonia, they had a cold. Just the sheer amount of people that have gone down as COVID deaths that have absolutely nothing to do with their death at all. Falling off ladders or getting hit by a car or in a motorbike accident. No bearing on their death at all. People that haven't even tested positive with a dodgy PCR test. They've tested negative. And they already prepared for that by going, well, sometimes it doesn't pick up on it. So what? You're still going to put it on the death certificate regardless? Because you're following orders. Just like the army, just like the police. Just like the rest of the doctors in the healthcare sector. You're just following orders. So what are you going to do? You're going to go follow orders as well? You're going to do as you're told? Be a good little slave? Be a good little well-trained dog? It's ridiculous where this is going. I mean, the figures yesterday that somebody had posted that I shared on Facebook show that the death rate this year is no different to where it was last year or the year before. No different at all. It's exactly where it should be. And people go, oh yeah, but that's misleading because it's only counted up to week 45. So we're on course to smash that and go to the same level of death there was in the 1918 flu pandemic, Spanish flu. But what they're saying is they're trying to predict the future. They're trying to suggest that 35,000 people are going to die in the next 3 weeks to reach that total. And not only that, because we can't go on predicting the future, can we? Even though us conspiracy theorists have got it right quite a lot. Even though Bill Gates seems to get it right, and the Rockefeller Foundation seem to get it right. Hey, they know what's happening, don't they? So we can't predict the future, so we go on the figures that we've got. And as I pointed out to them, since 2015, the deaths have gone up every year, in line with population growth. This is what they're going to do this for. They want to depopulate. Us conspiracy theorists have told you that. Bill Gates has told you that. His dad was a eugenicist, for God's sake. It couldn't be any clearer. And still people's heads are so far up their arses because they don't want to believe it, or they can't believe it, or they're too stupid to believe it. And I get the same thing. I've had people that support me saying to me, try meditation. Don't let these people get to you. They don't get to me. I'm showing my passion to try to wobble their heads a little bit. They don't get to me. If anything, they affect me less now than they did before the pandemic. Because now I know that any trolls that I get, any negativity I get, is not based in knowledge. It's not based in education and understanding. It's based on opinion that they're regurgitating from a narrative given to them by the media. And when you question them, they prove as much. They don't know about the PCR test. They don't know about the figures. They don't know about the NHS figures. They know nothing. And that's why they are now the enemy. Because this ain't about an opinion that doesn't affect people. This is an opinion that affects everyone. And this is an opinion that when people are watching you, they're going to relate to one way or another. I've said before on former videos, I've thrown myself in the lion's den when I've seen people getting attacked for not wearing masks. And I've expected to get a backlash from them. And I haven't. I've got people coming out in support. Where were these people before? Didn't want to comment. Didn't want to get involved. Too scared to speak up. Didn't want the confrontation. Well, guess what, people? You can't avoid it now. It's unavoidable. It is unavoidable. It's everywhere you go. It's everywhere you look. It's all around you. It can't be avoided. So what are you going to do? You're going to suck your thumb and wear your mask and do as you're told? Or you're going to say, no, enough's enough? I know there's so many people that will make that decision and stand with me. And another point that's been brought up before, if I am wrong, not only do I give anyone an opportunity to prove me wrong, they can't, but if I am wrong, then why don't you all stay indoors and let us conspiracy theorists go out and get the Roni and die? And that way you'll be self-assured that you were right all along and you get rid of us stupid, selfish people once and for all. Yeah? And then when you see that we're still here in another year's time, the same as we're still here now, a year later, after not wearing any masks, not following any rules, going out and protesting with thousands of people, then you see maybe you'll start to see then. Another thing yesterday, someone saying, COVID has hit my house. My 2-year-old's got a rash. Got a nappy rash. Maybe you should be more worried about meningitis. Things like that. A rash. So she's now convinced beyond all doubt it's COVID. So I put her straight. And what did she do? She had her little comment and then she turned the comments off to stop me having my say back. And I find it laughable. These people, all they do is serve to prove how stupid and ignorant they are to what's going on. But if you are awake and you do know what's happening, shake these people on every given opportunity. Stand firm, stand your ground, tell them how it is, ask them for proof of the contrary. Try and plant them seeds. Some of them are going to turn into weeds, some of them ain't going to grow at all, but some of them will. And if we can all wake up one person a week, then we're going to grow. Because this revolution has to grow. It has to reach the top. We have to get MPs on side. We have to get police on side. We have to get soldiers on side and doctors on side. I mean, the Barrington Declaration, there's already 50,000 medical professionals on side. There's more than that. But we need it common knowledge. We need it out there. We need to do everything we can. Support the political parties that are against it. Support the people that are taking these people, these criminals to court. Support people on Facebook and social media that are fighting against trolls on a daily. Support them all. Support them all. Give them your support. Spend your time wisely because your time is running out. And the world next year looks very, very bleak. Believe me. I'm going to leave it there. And I hope you watch this video. It's a bit longer than normal. I didn't want to make it that long, but I just got carried away. There's just always so much to say. And so much emotion going around. And frustration. And anger. And I don't want it to fill me with hate. I'm making sure I direct it at the right people. We need to get to the government. We need to get to the pharmaceutical companies. We need to send them a message and stop paying tax and stop funding them. And we need to defeat whoever's in our way to get there. Sheep, family members, colleagues, neighbours, friends, police, armies, whoever. Otherwise, life is done. It's as simple as that. Don't believe me? Look into it. Do you believe me? Do something about it. As always, I offer anybody the chance to prove me wrong because this is one thing that I would so dearly love to be wrong about and go, thank you, I can now finally trust my government. But I know that is certainly not the case. I hope you all enjoy your Christmas.